Hello everyone, I'm Anne Bla from Job Teaser. Welcome to the Big Talk Show, a show that introduces you to a profession. And today we're going to discover the job of VIP Experience Senior Project Manager with Laura, who works at Cartier International. Hello Laura, how are you?
Nice to meet you. Very well, thank you. Happy to be here.
Welcome. Thank you for being here. So as I said, you're working in the VIP Experience team at Cartier International. But first of all, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Laura. Nice meeting you, Anne Bla, and very nice to be here. Happy to share more about my job in Cartier. I started my career in Cartier in 2017 at the team in Northern Europe, so Cartier Market Northern Europe, based in Munich.
So because you're from Munich, right?
I'm from Munich. I'm German, exactly.
So you speak German, English, and French, right?
Yes, 3 languages.
Amazing.
So, getting there. And after around 4 years in the Munich team, I had the luck to be asked to transfer to the Paris team. So to the International VIP, thank you so much, to the International VIP Experience Department, of which I'm part of since 2021.
Wow, congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
So what means to be VIP Experience Senior Project Manager?
So us as the VIP Experience Department in Cartier International, we are in charge of making sure that the overall brand experiences is well transmitted to the different VIPs. If we talk about different VIPs, that can be really all different sorts of VIPs, including clients, but also press, people of influence, talents, internal VIPs also, like ExCo members. And for those different VIPs, we really want to make sure that they receive the right level of treatment and experience when they interact with the Maison at different moments. Throughout the different moments means we have different expertise, which we on our side could define and differentiate between, on the one hand, one to many. So everything that's talking about retail animation, hospitality, how does Cartier want to host our different VIPs in the different moments of interactions. Then we have the exact opposite of that, so the one-to-one, for which we really exclusively for a very small group of guests, clients activate
the VIP guests.
VIP guests, create super tailor-made programs for when they, for example, come to Paris to discover the Cartier ateliers. And in that frame, it's really personalized client and guest programs based on their interests. And on the third expertise that we want to highlight here and that we are working on is really the one-to-few, what we could call one-to-few, and which is actually the expertise that I've been mainly working in over the past 4 years.
You're more specialized in this expertise, right?
Exactly. So it's we have different people working on the team, of course, focusing on those 3 different topics. And on my side, I'm part of the one-to-few expertise, which is mainly events. So really the moment where we have an opportunity to immerse ourselves and the guests specifically in events, and that along events, we have different topics that we are considering as part of the VIP experience offer we are curating and putting together, which on the one hand is hospitality. So where do our different VIPs stay when they are invited by Cartier to an event in terms of hotels, sometimes other luxury accommodation of a sort. Then we have experiences, so really curated moments, unforgettable moments if we do our job well for our VIPs, choosing relevant partners on site and really making sure that they experience something very exclusive and special.
Make it unforgettable.
Make it unforgettable.
Yeah.
Really opening doors only we can open for them, considering that our guests basically have access to everything. Press are invited from other brands, clients as well sometimes. So it's how can we create something very, very exclusive and unforgettable, as you said. Then everything else to fulfill and to complete their guest program site. So really concierge services like transportation, which can be either cars, but also boats, depending on the destination we go to. And restaurants, everything really that they do in order to fill their time with us on site with Cartier. So we curate a selection of concierge offer. And then a fourth topic that we consider as part of the VIP experience is gifting, which really is quite transversal over the different expertises that I was mentioning, and is something that is, let's say, more strategic, considering that there's quite a high volume of gifts, of course, in the different moments that are given to our guests. So we want to make sure that there's a sense behind that, and I think it's very important to say and to highlight that the VIP experience offer that we put in place is really strongly aligned with and adapted to what we want to do within the different events and activations. So it's really a tool that can completely support the Maison's targets in either commercial but also communicational way. And if we do our job well, then we can see an impact of what we are doing in the outcome of the event after.
And do you have an example of a project you worked on?
So projects can be all projects as an events can be all different sorts of events. Since we work with so many different VIP groups, it's quite diverse in that sense, which can be on the one hand, for example, commercial events, inviting clients and guests to discover new collections that Cartier presents. It can also be corporate events, so regarding different responsibilities, different partnerships that Cartier has. That is something that we also invite our guests to discover and really put that in front and talk about it, communicate about it. Then there's some events that are recurring, which, for example, if we want to highlight a specific more iconic collections presented to press, for example, it's different sort of events and
many things, right?
a lot of things. And of course, on a Cartier international side, we are not participating in all activations worldwide because we cannot. There's so many. But it's true that if another part of our job and what we do is setting up guidelines for the regions and markets in Cartier, and if those guidelines are well done and understandable and clear, aligned with our vision for what is VIP experience in Cartier, then the markets can be independent and well manage the different topics on a local level under our, let's say, overall international guidelines.
Your job requires a lot of adaptation, anticipation, rigor. What are the challenges of your job?
There is, so the VIP experience and guest experience in general is a topic that I think got more and more important. How can we make sure to infuse our brand values and to make sure that guests invited by Cartier to an event really have that red thread, that Cartier red thread in throughout the different activations that they participate in. Then for sure, since our guests are invited very often by other competitors and maisons as well, and some of the destinations potentially have already been seen or activated before, there's always this challenge of how can we surprise our guests? How can we find new things that still are in terms of excellency on the level we want to work on? But really surprising, and we are challenging really ourselves to be innovative and
you need
surprise.
To be very creative, right?
Yes, absolutely, very important.
And I have another question. What are the clichés surrounding your profession?
There's different ones. I think to begin with, there is a bit the image that working in luxury can have, and it's something that it's mostly the first question people ask me if I tell them I work for Cartier, is that luxury field and the luxury scene in maisons sometimes have the image of being quite inaccessible and a bit cold, and there's a difficult working ambience. And I really have to say, from my subjective perspective, based on what I experienced in my almost 7 years now, is that on the one hand, my team in Munich, but also my team in Paris and the teams in Paris that I work with have been very welcoming, and there's been really a team spirit. There's been a warm atmosphere. We spent a lot of time together also on events, so we really need to get along. And I have to say that also in my time when I came, not speaking French, not being French, it was very, very welcoming, and there was really the opposite of a cold work environment that I saw. So that definitely is a cliche that I don't see fulfilled from a personal perspective.
And I have maybe one cliche. You said that you travel a lot. So maybe we can have this image of you having always a good time.
Of course, we do have a good time for sure. And I think if as soon as we love what we do in our job, work doesn't feel like work, but it's really also pleasure in some way.
There is a lot of work behind.
But for sure, and same, of course, the pictures I send to my family and friends is always the nice settings, and Gallatin is we're attending, and amazing places and so on. But it's true that what is not seen and what sometimes is not seen in the job that we do is the hard work that goes behind. The better we prepare and the more we work beforehand, anticipating really different challenges that could come up during the event on site, the better it's going to be on site. And this hard work, including sometimes longer hours during the event on site and working until late in the night, is not seen, but is definitely part of the business and the job that I work on.
And maybe a third cliché?
I think a third cliché, more linked to our team and what we do, is the fact, talking about our job, which includes some services like concierge, transportation, restaurants, booking services, can sometimes have or give the image that our job is exclusively operational, which is not the case at all. So there is the way we approach the different topics like hospitality, experiences, and so on is really very strategic, and a lot of thought and strategy goes behind or goes in it, specifically in preparation to the different activations we're doing. So
everything is thought before. Yeah.
Yes, it's very much thought, and the strategy that we have on VIP experience side is also aligned with the strategy that the Maison uses and activates for the different sorts of events. So there is really a merge, and we are aligning our strategy with what we want to put in place from Maison.
And what studies did you do?
On my side, I studied in the communications field, so events and media management in Munich. And basically at the end of my studies, so I did 2 other internships before, and at the end of my studies, my final internship was with Cartier, first 6 months, which then turned into 4 years in different positions and fields, let's say. So on my side, it was communications. But Cartier in general
what are the other paths possible?
Yeah, there is quite some paths that are possible, and Cartier is very active on the one hand, trying to keep good profiles in the Maison, but also recruiting and finding profiles that match the Maison and the teams they are looking for on other sites. Cartier is part of Richemont as a group, so we do see also sometimes movements from other maisons within Richemont to Cartier and the other way around. That is very much promoted. What's also so there's some partnerships with universities specifically for people at the beginning of their career who are interested in joining the maisons. So those programs do happen and are supported by Cartier. For people that already work in Cartier, there is internal mobility, is like me, for example, coming from Munich to Paris. Internal mobility is something that's promoted and really, really wanted.
So it's possible to evolve and change locations.
Yes. Basically, it's possible to change locations from international to market or the other way around. It's possible to change métier also, the field that you're working in, from, for example, communications to the commercial part. People really, it's all about the network also. The more you understand what other people do in the company, the more you can identify what you're interested in. And as we said, what I really like about our job as the VIP experience department is that we are working with a lot, I would say almost every other sort of department in Cartier. So we know quite well what other people do, and then just being aware of what's happening in the other teams and departments is really helpful to create this vision of where you want to go.
So many career opportunities at Cartier, right?
Yes, there's some.
And do you have a tips or an advice for a young person watching us and maybe who would like to do your career? What kind of tips you can give to him or to her?
In general, I would say there's 2 aspects in that question. On the one hand, if the different values that I was talking about, if you feel like that resonates, then definitely this is one key aspect to the way of success in Cartier, I would say. If the core values of myself as a person match with the company I work for, then this is really a very good first step. On the other hand, of course, in our field as in VIP experience, which is, as we explained, or specifically what I'm doing, a lot linked to events, there's other sort of soft skills that definitely are helpful. I would say even need to be accomplished.
What kind of soft skills?
For example, being able to work under stress situations, events. Even if we did perfectly prepare everything beforehand,
there's always something happening.
There's always things that happen, and it's very normal. So I think it's really the way of how people are able to deal with those situations. How
work under pressure.
Exactly, work under pressure. How solution oriented in that situation you are. How rigorous, of course, you also manage to work on your tasks beforehand and on site. It's really rigorous, something that is very, very important. But then also creativity, as we said, it's one of the key values of Cartier. But creativity on the one end on how we put up organizational structures, so thinking out of the box to work budget efficient, but still making sure that our activations are successful. And also creation-wise, in the sense of we have the luck to as a maison be able to have access to a lot of great partnerships in the different destinations that we go to. So really, there's no limit for creativity in that sense, and it's something where we really need that sort of creativity to continue to surprise and continue tackling the challenges that I was mentioning before. And
a last word to conclude.
On my side, I hope I could transmit that in the interview with you. I'm very, very pleased working for a lovely maison.
You can feel how passionate you are about your job.
It's nice, thank you. It's a privilege to work with so many inspiring people on the one hand internally, but also externally, the partners that we work with, and that we managed to create those amazing experiences. And it's true that even if it's hard work, a lot of hard work that's not always seen, really seeing the sparkle in our clients' eyes if they leave one of the experiences that we put in place for an event is very rewarding. So wouldn't want to have that any other way.
Thank you, Laura. It was very interesting. We can see how passionate and you are about what you're doing. And thank you for watching this video. I hope it's made you want to know more about Cartier International and about her job. In any case, you can find all the information about Cartier International on the job teaser page. And see you soon for a next video. Bye.